Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be my end of year favorites cheek edition. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you are into eyeshadow palettes, Esses and Catrice, and getting to use out of your makeup the way I am, then definitely stay tuned because today it is 2022 favorites time and we're talking all things cheeks, which is bronzer, blushes, and highlighters. And I'm looking at what I've got going on in my little selection here. And we've got a lot of creams and liquids going on. So without further ado, let's just get started. And in case you're new here and you've never seen one of my videos, then it's maybe good to know that I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, which greatly skews my makeup preferences. And I have been buying, trying, and reviewing makeup for more than a decade. So I have some very strong favorites as well. I know what I like. I know where to find the good stuff. So I hope you're here for the ride and you would like to join the Snow Angel Club, because that can be done by clicking the subscribe button down below. So yes, cheeks, a lot of creams and liquids, because that's what I was trying. I've got a couple of bronzers, some highlighters, but this wasn't really the year for highlighter and bronzer for me for some reason. It was all about the cream blush and liquid and cream products, as I said. I do have a couple of things for 2023 that I want to focus on. I want to try some more cream bronzers. I've now heard a couple of people raving about some products and I'm like, I may want to try those as well. But I definitely think like my blush collection is just out of control. So I definitely need to like do a declutter again in 2023 just so we can tone things down, because I now go through some of my blushes and go like, but I'm not interested in this anymore. So I've got quite a lot of like older powder blushes and I'm like, I'm not really feeling it anymore. So yeah, that may have to also do with the fact that I've now found these things that I just really love. So let me start with bronzers first, because I only have two bits. Catrice Holiday Skin Bronzer. Now I think this may have already been in my video last year, but then I only had the darker shade. I didn't buy this lightest shade, which is called Summer in the City, until this year, and that's when I also reviewed it. I love the formula of the darker one so much that I went and bought the lighter one. Now, this is perfect for me in the winter time. This is great if you have very light, fair skin. It just has the perfect shade, perfect formula. It's very reminiscent of the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula, especially scent-wise, because this does have macadamia nut oil, so it again has that tropical kind of scent to it almost. Bit of a nutty sort of scent. But this shade is perfect for me, and the formula of this is really interesting because it has this really rich, almost creamy powder texture that blends really easily. This doesn't look muddy on, and the two shades are perfect for me. There are only two shades available, I'm afraid, so that's a bit of a downside. It is Catrice, of course, and yeah, this was just really excellent, and I'm really glad I now own both. And the other bronzer I have for you is the Rare Beauty Cream Bronzer Stick. I have this in Power Boost. This is great. Again, I did have a bit of a learning curve with this one. With some products that I'm talking about in my end of year favorites, I had to sort of learn how to use it, and this was one of them. I don't like this if I apply it straight from the stick onto my face. I feel this needs to be warmed up on the back of your hand and then picked up with a brush. I've tried some Spectrum brushes this year, and I will be doing a like favorite brushes of all time video in January in case you're interested in what brushes I like to use. And one of my favorites that I found this year is a Spectrum brush, which is a flat top kabuki brush, but because Spectrum brushes are vegan hair, so they are synthetic, it really is great for picking up cream products like this. And I have just really been enjoying that combo. And this bronzer stick, which is one of the best products I've tried all year, this looks natural on, it works really well. The shade is just stunning, and this is one of those bronzers that I could wear year round, and it would work lovely for me. So yeah, the bronzer stick from Rare Beauty in Power Boost had to get a mention here. And then we have highlighters. Like I mentioned at the start, 2022 just wasn't the year of highlighters for me, but I tried a couple of things that I liked. There is just one powder thing here, and I think I actually owned this already in 2021. I just didn't get around to using it yet. And then I started using it this fall time, and I was like, oh, But Dior, what are you called? This is Dior Forever Couture Luminizer in the shade Pink Glow. I have said many times how I don't love pink toned highlighters because I find them a little too icy sometimes. Even though I have that sort of cooler undertone in my skin, these very icy pinks don't look right on me all the time. I feel they only go with particular blushes. But this is the pink highlighter that I was waiting for. Like this thing, yes, it's pink. Yes, it has this icy quality, but it's not that very sort of flashy in your face kind of thing. It's a very buildable sort of formula where it never looks like too much. It has a hint of sparkle without it looking glittery. It's like one of those products where you're like, yes, this is why I like high-end makeup, because this is just offering me something I haven't found. When more affordable brands do shades like it can just be a little bit thick, it can have a very obvious base layer to it, and this doesn't have it. It's like shine, and it just looks so pretty. If you like that glass skin kind of look, but you don't love liquids and creams for that, then this Dior highlighter is the bomb.com. I already mentioned a Rare Beauty bronzer and the Rare Beauty highlighter in the shade Mesmerize. I'm mesmerized by this product. This is more of a peachy shade, and I think, when did I buy this? Again, a product I purchased last year, I think, but I didn't try it properly until this year. And this is so stunning on. Now, this is why I prefer peachy toned highlighters over these pinky toned ones, because peachy tones have pink and sort of like an orange in there, so they're both cool and warm at the same time. And for my more neutral leaning days, and like if I just want something that's universally flattering with everything, I find that peachy tones work best on me. But a lot of peach tones are far too dark to work on me very well because I have such a fair skin tone. But this one works beautifully. I love the way this looks. It looks very natural on. You can apply this all over. I mean, this is gonna last me light years because it's 15 milliliters of product. It's a very big bottle. I don't think I will be able to apply, like use this up anytime soon. It will probably expire before I can do that. But this is lovely. I really like the shade of this, and it just looks really pretty on. Finally, in highlighters, these two Catrice from the Disney Villains limited edition collection. Now, this may or may no longer be available. I think they sold out in most places. There are some websites where I can still find it. I don't think these came to the US. I'm terribly sorry. But the Cruella and Maleficent highlighters from the Disney Villains collection are what I deem to be the standout products from that collection. The eyeshadow palettes were okay. The bronzer and blush they did were nice. The setting spray I used up already. The primer in there that I tried was okay. But this is the thing I'm glad I didn't miss out on. They are definitely trying to dupe Charlotte Tilbury here. And I didn't own the Charlotte Tilbury shades that these match up with when I bought these. But I did do a short where I compared these to the shade from Charlotte that I did have, just to see what the formula would be like. These, I think, are a little sheerer than what Charlotte Tilbury does. A lot of the Charlotte Tilbury shades can be used as blushes. These are definitely highlighters. Like, they're very sheer. The Cruella one being a little bit peachy, and the Maleficent one being a little bit more golden toned. And the one I have from Charlotte is Pinkgasm, which is definitely more of a blush for me. But these two were really lovely. I really like the texture. I really like the finish it gives. Very, very pleasant to use. The Cruella one is my favorite because it has the peachy undertone. I'm not a huge fan of golden undertones on my skin tone for myself, but these were very pretty, so I had to give them a mention here. And if you stay tuned, then I'll show you my haul, which will include my purchases from Black Friday, and I did get 2 Charlotte Tilbury products that I hope are really close to this, so that I can do a proper swatch comparison of these products for sure. But I won't have time to do that until, like, I don't know, March or something. I have all of my shorts content already planned out for January and February for sure. So, but I will be comparing those at some point. But yeah, these were lovely. They were much more affordable than a Charlotte, of course, and I think, does it say how much you get? Yeah, these come with 15 milliliters of product, which is 3 milliliters more than a Charlotte's, because Charlotte Tilbury comes with 12. So cheaper, and you get more product. What's not to love? And here I'm saying I didn't try that many lovely highlighters, and then this somehow in my brain was with the blushes, but it's a highlighter, so I need to mention it here. This is the Catrice Glow Lover Oil Infused Highlighter in the shade Glowing Peony. And this is like the Dior, a pink toned highlighter that isn't too pink, too icy, too stark. It's very natural. It's a very, very pretty glow. And this is sort of where I see highlighters going next. Not that very high shine, like in your face sort of glow, but far prettier than that. And this is affordable from the drugstore, and I really like this line. You'll see in a minute why, because I have another Catrice product that looks very similar to this highlighter that I also really enjoyed this year. This came out in the springtime, if I'm not mistaken, and I haven't used it much yet, but this is definitely due a rope into a Shop My Stash this winter, because I think it will be perfect for like January, February time for sure. So this is a lovely little product. I really enjoyed trying this out, and I just really love the way this looked on, so that's why this had to get a mention here. Which means it's time for blush, and for blush, let me just kick things off with the one true powder product I wanted to recommend, which is the Cheek Lover Oil Infused Blush from Catrice. So this is the blush that goes with the highlighter, and this was one that I had seen announced, and it just didn't really spark my interest at first. I was like, it looks like NARS Orgasm, kind of like dupe. I'm not sure. I'm kind of over that kind of shade. I have shades in my collection that I like for that kind of look. And then I think, who did I see talking about it? It was Marley Wijn, who's also a Dutch YouTuber. She mentioned this on her channel, and it looked so pretty on her. And I was like, I'm gonna try that. And then I was like, oh. In the pan, because it has the gold reflecting ring, it reflects very golden toned in the packaging, which is why it didn't appeal to me. It seems to be that sort of like orange peach with a gold shine. It's not. This is a pinky peachy coral with a pink cool tone glow. The glow on this is cool toned, but the base of it is warm toned, so it looks stunning. And by now, I think that I need to retire my Benefit Coralista. They've redone their entire blush line by now, and mine is so old. I've hit pan on that thing, and I think that this is a replacement for that sort of vibe, for that look, for that very pretty, fresh coral face that I love in the summertime. And this has that bit of added glow that is a bit more cool toned, which you don't see until you apply it with a brush. Like, you really need to apply this with a brush to your cheeks to get the full effect, which is probably why I sort of just marked it down, because I was like, it's going to be far too warm toned, far too intense. But this has the loveliest formula to it, that it just looks natural every single time. And this is what, under €5 at the drugstore? Can't beat that. And everything else I have here is a cream or a liquid in some capacity. Now, I forgot, did I feature this last year? I might have. I already tried it last year, I'm pretty sure, but I didn't write a proper review until this year. And it's the MAC Glow Play Blush in the shade Heat Index. This thing reintroduced me to all things MAC blush, which is why it just has to get a mention here, because of this, I bought some other MAC blushes, also some extra dimension ones, another shade of the Glow Play that I really love too. I think it's called Rosie Does It, I think, which is much more of like a plummy one, which was stunning in the fall time. But Heat Index is the one that originally stole my heart, so it had to get a mention here. It's a really nice, vibrant coral shade, and something that I realized last year as I was trying more cream and liquid products is that I prefer cream blush if it's a vibrant shade like this, or something that looks really intense in the pan, because I feel that cream blushes are far easier to manipulate and to go on naturally if you use some right techniques. I actually, I'm not sure if it's already up by the time you're seeing this video, but I did create a short, so I'll link it in the description box down below in case you're curious, to show you how I like to apply my cream and liquid blushes. I kind of use the same technique all the time, and I feel it's foolproof. It works every time. It doesn't smudge my makeup underneath it. No weird patchiness or anything like that I feel you can get if you just swirl your brush in there. fingers are key here. But yeah, the Glow Play Blush from MAC, foolproof every time. Love it. And similar vein, because this shade is almost the same as Heat Index, I feel, but this is the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush in the shade Strawberry Drip. Again, a product I already tried for the first time last year, but I didn't get into it properly until this year, which is why, because I reviewed it this year, I decided to put it in this video. And I feel that Strawberry Drip is just a little bit more, like a little softer almost, a little pinkier red, whereas this has a bit more orange to it. So I feel they're both corals, but they do something slightly differently when I use them, I feel. Do I need both? Probably not, but I really like this cream formula as well. There aren't that many shades in the line though that truly appeal to me. This was the only one that really stood out. Because of that pinky undertone, it looks really natural if you have a cooler undertone. And on me, this gives that like sun-kissed sort of vibe very well. Like you look like you've got a sunburn, but you don't. And I think this is also a great shade if you want to do the cold makeup trend that is sort of going around as well, if you put a little bit of this on your nose. I'm not really into that, but yeah, this shade especially is really good for that fresh in from the cold kind of vibe as well. I feel that the Heat Index one a little less so because it has a bit more warmth in its undertone. And the final cheek product I have to show you is Rare Beauty's liquid blush. I'm never sure what this is called. The full name is never on the packaging, so I would have to look it up. But this is in the shade Hope. I already had one of these in the shade Grace, and it was very difficult to work with. I like it, I really like it, but the shade Hope is the one that really opened the floodgates for me, whereas like, now I get it. This blush is just so natural on. This is a bit more of a warmer undertone, so I liked it better on myself in like the summer season. This was the only blush, this is the only blush I brought with me when I went to London in the summertime, and I loved it the entire time. Like, I just fell in love hard. This is really easy to apply, very easy to blend, but you do only have a limited amount of time to play with this before it sets down. But when it sets down, it won't budge. Like, if you're looking for budge-proof blush, because I know for some people, like, blush is just eaten by their skin. I personally don't have that that issue. Blush always stays looking nice and vibrant on my skin because I think because I have a drier skin type, my skin just doesn't really alter the look of my makeup all that much throughout the day, save for some creasing here and there, some texture that shines through. But I'm not very oily, so I feel that doesn't really happen for me. But this, it's budge proof. You can wear this on a hot summer day and it won't go anywhere. And I think that's a sign of a good blush. So that's why that had to get a mention here. So those are all the cheek products that stood out to me this year that I tried for the first time properly in 2022. I have more videos of this type either already live or I'm still coming to you with my worst makeup, my favorite lip products, and of course eyeshadow palettes. And over on my other channel, I will be showing you the sort of like favorite books and series and all that stuff that I've got going on there. So I've got content coming your way every single day until the end of the year. So if you'd like to stay tuned for that, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.